Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Wednesday night live stream. For today's card, I'm going to be using some really cute pattern paper from Newton's Nook. This just came in the mail, not too long ago. And these patterns are right up my alley. And it's not because it is very like pet themed, but for Valentine's Day, there's some really bold patterns. Oh, I love these hearts. Anyway, super cute. So I wanted to do something with pattern paper today. And I thought it'd be so fun to have little envelopes on a card. So then I thought, wait a minute, didn't Simon come out with an envelope die a while back? Sure enough, it was in my stash. This is the mini interactive envelope die set. So I'm going to be creating a slimline card. And I went through a few variations on my idea. Let me zoom in so you can see it. At first I was thinking, we'll have it be an A2 card. And then I realized this is going to be way too big. So I'm like, okay, make it a slimline and make it skinny and have them there. And then I thought, no, that's not going to work. And I said, what about turning the slimline on its side? And I could have 3 of the envelopes and kind of have them in a grouping to have them overlap. So that's what we're going for today. Once I had this idea down, then I realized that I wanted to use some gold die cut letters that I cut weeks ago for one of these lives, but I didn't ever use it. I've just sort of had it off to the side waiting for the right moment. And if I'm going to have gold, I think gold always looks better when it's on a dark background. So that said, okay, I need a darker background. What do I want to do with that? Why don't I just do some cardstock and then make some polka dots over the top and kind of make it a tone on tone vibe going. So that's where we're going for tonight's card. So this cardstock is cut to 7 by 8.5, and I'm going to score it to create a slimline card. So I'm just scoring it at 3.5, and because my scoreboard's not quite long enough for my cardstock, I'm going to turn it and score from the other end as well. And then here we are. Here is our slimline card base. So because I want the main background area to be a dark color, I decided to go with Mushroom from Concord and Ninth. It's a nice, like mid-tone, maybe a little darker than mid-tone gray. And I'm going to cut it down so that it's just a little bit smaller than the front of my card. And I'm going to be using the I Like Small Dots, which I don't think these are small. I think they're like more of a medium to large size, but whatever. I'm going to use this one for my pattern because it's nice and big and it'll cover the entire area. So I want this to be fairly dark because like I said earlier, I didn't show you, but it's the I Adore You dies from Simon. This is my writing. And I wanted them to be, really stand out on a dark background. So that's why I'm using this gray cardstock. Let me slide this over a little. So it's going to look really nice on top of that. The black ink I'm using today is Black Soot from Tim Holtz. All right, so I'm just going to start blending in. And I want it to be fairly dark. I want it to be like super, super dark. I'm going to come in after the stenciling is done and add more ink on top because I want it to just be sort of like a tone on tone, like super black with a slightly lighter black. So that's one of the reasons why I'm starting with a dark gray paper, because I don't want to have to use so much ink, Let's see how this looks. Oh, that looks really nice. Look at that. It's so clean and crisp. We're just going to do some blending in from the corners or from the edges. And I'm going to turn the cardstock over here in a minute and you'll be able to see the difference between the original cardstock color and then the darker gray that I've made it. The original cardstock color. Isn't that crazy? Dot runner. Just all along each edge. A few little stripes down the middle. Okay. All right, let's die cut these 3 right now before we move on. Someone in the chat asked, can you use the envelope maker for this? Like, does it make envelopes that small? You know, I'm not really sure. I don't think it makes quite this small, but I've never looked. I haven't tried. So let's go ahead and, you know, I think I'm going to have to reinforce the score lines on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my scoreboard out and do that. Because otherwise I think I'll have trouble folding these really nicely. Oh yeah, so much better. I was like trying to fold it and I'm like, wait a minute. Anyway, I have these spare gold hearts that were leftovers from when I did my box card. So I'm just going to die cut a couple of hearts out of that. I mean, I could use it. I could, you know, save it and use it for something else, but I'm just going to use it as a scrap. Let's assemble these. I think I'm going to use a little bit of, this is super, super strong adhesive. So it's going to be good for keeping these envelopes closed, but I don't need very much of it. I'm just going to cut off a little piece. I'm going to use just a little bit of liquid glue. Some liquid glue on the back of the heart. And then directly onto the envelope. And I'm going to hold that down a little bit because it wants to pop open just the tiniest amount. You could put little love notes in the envelopes. Mine are blank today. They're empty, I should say. Now I'm going to work on the pattern paper because we want a strip of pattern paper to go all the way across the bottom. We only need it to be about 1 inch tall. So I'm going to come over to my paper trimmer, taking my striped paper that's left over, and I'm going to cut it at a diagonal. So I have 3 strips to work with. I can piece those together perfectly. Okay, and because I don't have enough paper to go all the way across, I need to see where exactly I'm going to have my envelopes so that I know where I can kind of fudge it a little bit and make it look like this pattern paper goes all the way across. Looks like it's going to be about right there. I'm just going to adhere this as straight as possible. I'm not making any promises. Come all the way to the side. We're going to put these on foam adhesive. I think that's going to help them pop up a little bit. Oh, I love that. All right. Just press that down a little bit. Hey, no stamping on this card. What? Okay, hold that in place for a little bit. Well, for one thing, I think I want like a little stripe of gold going right underneath here. I think that would look awesome. And then, like I'm alluding to, we're going to add some white dashed lines because I can. This is totally giving me Christina vibes from my early years on YouTube. I did a lot more like pattern paper stuff back then. It's giving me those vibes. Coming off the end about like that. And then I just need like the tiniest little bit to put between the envelopes. Let's see if I can do this stamp surgery without getting glue everywhere. It really is like that Operation game. Slide it up a little. Perfect. So now it's in there. And then just snip off these ends. And now we're going to do a dashed line, and then we can call it done. So this is the finished card for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. You could definitely change it up and do lots of different things for this card idea. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back very soon with another card video.